Hey nerds, and welcome to Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Theories and Conspiracies. I'm Brian from Good Nerd Bad Nerd. This week was probably one of the best episodes that we've had in a long time. Patton Oswalt is always great when he's on the show, and this week we had him all over the place from, just the different brothers, his interactions with Daisy, his little anti-S.H.I.E.L.D. Version where he was up there protesting with his deep monologues. All of him was great. The story was great, and a lot happened. So, jumping right in, Koenigs and the very first LMD program. The entire episode, they toyed around and teased with the idea that they actually were clones or duplicates or robots of some sort, but at the very end, they kind of come clean and be like, no, we're just brothers. It's, a case of identical quadruplets or more. I mean, we don't know how many, but we did get the impression that there was only 4 of the brothers and then the sister LT. And their interaction, all of them, was great. It was really, really cool to see how that played out, and the confusion it caused for the team, but also for the bad guys. Then the interaction between, that I mentioned earlier, Daisy and one of the Koenigs, that was great, where he's talking about the fan fiction and the shipping between her and Black Widow. Everything about Patton Oswalt this episode was great. But also the first life model decoy, when you've got 4 guys who look exactly the same, it allows for some interesting options. And so I think that was a neat way for them to do that and to explain how we have these guys that look all the same, that are brothers. And, it was just really, really nicely spelled out, where it's not some crazy technical or like, yeah, we can clone people, or yeah, we can duplicate people. It's just the most simplest answer, and it works perfectly. Next, L-May-D, or the LMD of May, was finally discovered. She was discovered by Fitz on his own through his investigating of the Radcliffe LMD with that ridiculously advanced brain that Ada created. But then also when she revealed herself to Coulson after her primary mission parameters had switched over and kicked in, and now she had the book and had to get it to Radcliffe. You can see Coulson's heart breaking during that scene, again, as another person that he loves, is taken from him, and he realizes May has been gone for a very long time. He doesn't know how much of the past few weeks has been real. It's, it's devastating, the stuff you knew he was going to have to go through because of where this episode was going. That being said, the fate of the LMD is still in question. She was not destroyed like the other ones, so it's possible we will see her up and running again, but we still don't have May back. So there's, the question of what's going to happen with Melinda May, the LMD and the real one, is up for grabs. Some people are speculating that the real Agent May will die and Coulson will keep the LMD around because she does know everything May knows. She does have all of her skills, things like that. But what do you guys think about that? Do you think we're going to keep both? Do you think both are gone, or are we getting the real Melinda May back? That's a question that hopefully will be answered. We've only got a couple episodes left in this, that we know about coming up with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. so far. But next, who is the Superior? This is something I talked about a lot last week, and it was kind of revealed to us this week. But some of the you guys in the comments had some great ideas. The first idea comes from Madison Badger, and he guessed MODOK. MODOK is that crazy-looking floating head. He's a really fun villain. As much as I would love to see him on the show, I think he's too much of a CG cost to the show. I mean, look how they did Hive. They scraped by showing him twice. Ghost Rider, they really did go out and show him quite frequently. But MODOK, I don't think it's in the budget. And as we saw this week of who the Superior allegedly actually is, it just doesn't seem right, although it would be cool. The next guess from you guys, Gogo guessed the Leader. The Leader is a villain from the Hulk side of things, Samuel Stearns. And we actually did see the Leader's origin story in the Incredible Hulk. This is the one that is actually in the MCU continuity, not the Eric Bana Hulk movie. But they implied that was the leader's origin story there. Again, a great character, but I don't think that's who we're seeing here. Partly because the leader has nothing necessarily against Inhumans or mutants. He just thinks he should rule the world because he's the smartest person and therefore will do it the best. So a great character, but also not one that I think is really going to fit with the superior. The last person who had some guests, Kyle William Livingston, had 3 guesses. Either the Kree in disguise, Nitro, a character who's a living bomb and is actually responsible for kind of setting off the events of Civil War in the comics, the first one. And his last guess, which actually I really like and I think does have a possibility, except for what we learned this week, and that was Arnim Zola. Everyone probably remembers him from the first 2 Captain America films, and he did make an appearance in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I believe it was end of season 2? Season 2 or season 3, when Daniel Whitehall is captured by Agent Carter, when Agent Carter made that appearance. He was his cellmate. And after that, we know he goes on to be the brain in the living computer that paid homage to his comic book form, which is the body with the TV camera and the screen in the chest. But who's to say he couldn't make an appearance in that final form? If his mind and brain is all digital, why couldn't there have been a copy or a way to, someone took him and put him into another system or put him into a body, things like that. I would really have loved it to have been Arnim Zola. I thought that was a great option, and it really fit in with the mythology of the MCU and the specifically relating to S.H.I.E.L.D. So that would have been a great character, but unfortunately it doesn't look like that, because we learned the identity of the Superior this week, and it was a character by the name of Anton Ivanov. Now, there's no character by that name in the comics, so looking at him, trying to figure out who he is, maybe some of his connections, there's one character that comes up that I think it could be, and that is the leader of Leviathan. Viktor Uvarov, also codenamed Orion, is the leader of Leviathan, and if you remember watching Agent Carter, Leviathan is the Russian version of S.H.I.E.L.D., and clearly there's a lot of Russian guys here. We were told a couple episodes back that they had some Hydra connections, and while that gets a little murky, Leviathan and Hydra did kind of go back and forth on whether they were working together or were enemies, so it's possible. Why do I think it could be him? Well, this is another character who is a part of the Great Wheel of the Zodiac, who many of the antagonists and protagonists that we've come to meet during Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. have come from. Now, he went on with his main goal of trying to destroy Baron von Strucker and Hydra and Nick Fury and S.H.I.E.L.D. Obviously, these are 2 big players in the MCU and specifically Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Baron von Strucker, sadly, is already dead, and Hydra is mostly eliminated. But then we've got Nick Fury still out there and about, and S.H.I.E.L.D. has resurrected itself from the fiery ashes of Hydra. So, he still has part of his goal out there, his claimed and expressed goal of destroying the thing that he thinks is responsible for all the superhumans and the aliens and all the crazy stuff that's happening, Coulson. That's an interesting thing, because in the comics, Orion, or this character, was actually killed by Coulson. Yes, Coulson does show up in the main Marvel continuity. He shows up at the same time as Nick Fury's son, who also takes on the role of Nick Fury. So there's a lot of possibilities with this character. He's got the connection to the Great Wheel, he's got an intimate connection with Coulson because Coulson murders him, and he's Russian. So maybe that's a little bit of a reach, but he actually does fit. It would be a shame if this was just a character they made up and called him the Superior, because it's kind of unimaginative. What's more likely than that, though, is that he's not really the Superior. He's got someone over him, and he's just taking that role as kind of a go-between between the Superior and all the minions. So what do you guys think about that? And that brings us to what is going to happen next week. We know that the synopsis for next week is called Boom. And this is partly where the Nitro theory came from. Nitro blows himself up. So that could be what's going on there. But what is Radcliffe really going to do with the Darkhold? What is his endgame? And what do you think about the theories for the Superior? Do you think it's one of the guys that was mentioned? Do you think it was the Orion, the head of Leviathan, that I thought? Or is it just some random guy that they made up for the show? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let me know how much you loved or hated this episode. Personally, I thought it was one of the best they've had in a while. And I've loved this season so far. So let me know all that in the comments. And until next week, guys, this has been Brian from Good Nerd, Bad Nerd. And this has been Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Theories and Conspiracies.